Hey, what's up everybody? It's Richie here, and we are back after a particularly tough week, ready to make some Minecraft videos. Apparently our rabbit friend has joined us. I think he just wants a carrot, so let's fix that really quick. And then let's go ahead with a ton of tips and tricks I've found for using the Elytra in Minecraft 1.11. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Elytra is an elusive and awesome object you can find in the end game of Minecraft. It essentially works as a glider, it's super rare, and also super awesome. And very recently in Minecraft 1.11, they added rocket support. So if you fly now, and you right-click with a rocket, you get essentially boost, and you get sent flying way, way up in the air. If you ask me, it's a little bit overpowered. But let's face it, it is so completely awesome. But before you even get off the ground, the first thing you want to do with your brand new Elytra is add Unbreaking 3 and then Mending if you had it. Why? Because these are probably just about the most valuable thing anyone could find on a server, and you really don't want it to break. Now, if it does break, you can repair it with leather, but it's just better to have Mending and Unbreaking, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And once you've put it on, you want to make sure everything you have is ready. You want to make sure you have food on you, preferably something like steak or golden carrots with good saturation. And you're going to want feather falling boots, because it really, really sucks to die when you're on an Elytra, especially if you're taking it for your first flight. And now in Minecraft 1.11, since we can use rockets to boost our flight, what I want you to do is take a layout just like this. Of course, if you don't have this much material, you can just make a few, and craft yourself a ton of empty Flight Duration 3 fireworks. Don't try using regular fireworks for this. Really don't. Why? Because the other thing they added in Minecraft 1.11 is the fact that firework explosion damage will hurt you. So if you have a firework that doesn't explode, you're not going to take damage. But if you do, you're not going to be having a fun flight. But now that you're ready for flying, let's go into survival really quickly so I can make this a more realistic experience right here. Drop this block of sand. And I find right now the best way to take off, especially with these rockets, is to go off a little bump, jump, press space, and fly way, way up into the air. And that's going to give you really an incredible amount of boost. And if you're really enthusiastic, about 4 rockets can take you actually out of world limit completely. Like, you're not going to need to go higher from this. And from here, you can use rockets, but I find only unless you're turning, it's not really worth it. You can just glide as fast as you want. We can go straight down if we want, and nothing bad is going to happen. But while we're on the topic of going straight down, the first thing I'm going to show you is how to stop fast in any situation. Basically, I want you to angle yourself down and then spin around really fast as you hit the ground. You saw I took a tiny bit of damage right there, but it wasn't anything that substantial. And once again, if you missed that, I'm sorry that the weather appears to be acting up. But if you really want to stop, just angle down, get close to the ground, and spin around. And what that'll do is basically cancel all of your momentum. And the weather has been cleared, so we can get on with some other tips. Now, probably the coolest part about the Elytra is soaring over your friends. And if you want to show off, I have another landing I can teach you. And that is, unfortunately, the MLG water bucket landing. Basically, you're going to angle yourself up, you're going to wait to stall, you're going to go down, and I just screwed that up. Let's try that again. Alright, that was a valuable lesson. Basically, you can't have anything in your offhand, but you have to hold down right-click. And did you just see what happened? Basically, we're flying in the air, we're going down. We hold right-click with water. And that means the second this block gets into range, we place water right there, which means the second we hit the ground, we land in water. Pretty cool, pretty awesome, and it's surprising the amount of people who don't know how to do this, because in most cases, unless you're falling really fast, it's not that hard to go straight down, hold right click. I'm an idiot. Alright, I'm really sorry guys, but I think I'm gonna leave that in. I've been having a derpy day here. Basically, if you're above a certain speed, let's try to salvage this, you are not going to be able to click fast enough, which I mentioned earlier, but didn't think would be the case. So before you try this, if you want to try this to show off, please go closer to the ground and do it from a respectable distance, because honestly, if you do that in front of your friends, they're just gonna laugh at you. They're just gonna laugh at you. So if you've gotten over my previous failures and are still watching this video, first of all, thank you, and second of all, there are still a lot of cool things to cover, but I want to mention, especially with the water bucket and the spin thing, they're going to take a lot of practice to get down. And as you can see, even I am not that great all of the time at them. So be careful and make sure you know what you're doing once you get your Elytra. Actually, the first thing I would do before ever using an Elytra in survival is make like an amplified world, get yourself an Elytra, put yourself in survival, and just cruise around to make sure you have the hang of it. But for our next tip here, this is actually something really interesting. Elytras work in water and lava, which means if you're, say, raiding an ocean temple, if you want to get somewhere fast underwater, and, like, if you're trying to get to someone's base or down to the bottom, this is really the way to do it. I mean, I think you do have slowed movement speed, but with fireworks, it really won't be that much of a problem, and it will be much, much faster than you can swim. The one thing you can't do, however, once you touch the bottom of water, is activate your Elytra again. It's going to be very tricky to get up to the surface, and once you do, you're probably going to have to swim for the mainland. That is, of course, unless you have a boat in your inventory, because if you do have a boat in your inventory, what you can do is get out and press space really quick. You'll be in fly mode if you can do it right. It takes a little bit of practice, but basically you want to get out, jump, and take off. And it's very simple, it's pretty easy, and if you're stuck in the middle of the ocean, it's something you really want to know. Now, if you're fast enough, you can actually use an Elytra to counteract falling completely. Let's say we are running along, we found a cave, and all of a sudden we are falling into it. We press space, we look up, and right-click with our rocket, and bam, we just avoided falling to our death, which is pretty cool. Now, if you don't have a lot of boost rockets, and you do want to get a ton of movement out of the Elytra, the best thing to probably do is take very, very wide turns. Why? Because as I showed earlier, if you turn quickly, you lose almost all of your momentum. But if you have boost, you basically have a set speed. So as long as these particles are coming out, you can make a turn at as sharp of an angle as you want and basically not lose anything. And the last thing I want to say is that while using rockets to boost is really cool, make sure not to overuse it. As you can see, when we're getting boosted, we have a tail coming out of right there, and the tail will stop as soon as the thrust stops. So never use two rockets like this. That's not going to get you any more power. And honestly, I would just go and then wait a few seconds and then go again if I wanted to go as fast as possible. But once again, if you really want to get the speed, I would recommend using your boost to go up and then flying downward pretty fast. But unfortunately, guys, I'm afraid that this is going to be it for me today. I'm sorry if this was underwhelming at all. I really hope I showed you stuff that you really wanted to know. And like in all things, practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the better you're going to be. And eventually, you'll probably be better than me. Because honestly, I know great theories for flying the Elytra, but I'm not all that great at it. But until the next time, guys, this has been Richie. And I'm out. I'll see ya.